with our show. Now, I promised all of you, before we ask any of the questions, we'd give you all the answers. But all the answers are in the form of a story. And all the questions we ask are going to be based on that story, the story of Brando. Give him a hando.
When we think of Hollywood stars, we picture limousines and jewelry and life in the fast lane. Marlon Brando has always taken a different road. When he was 19, he decided to become an actor and moved to New York. He got a job as an elevator operator in a department store. But he quit because he was embarrassed to say the word lingerie. His first movie was The Men. To prepare for his role as a paraplegic, he spent weeks in a wheelchair going places with disabled veterans. One night, in a diner, they were approached by a faith healer. She told them that faith alone could make them walk. Brando stood up, and the woman fell to the floor. Despite his excellent performance in The Men, he was not given a nomination for the Oscar. Perhaps that was because he wouldn't play the Hollywood game. When a reporter asked him if he preferred a bath or a shower, he said, "Neither. I spit at the sky and run under it." That was easy for audiences to believe after they saw him play Stanley Kowalski in A Streetcar Named Desire. Hollywood columnist Luella Parsons called him the slob. Then again, he called her the fat one. Soon he won his first Oscar for On the Waterfront. He played Terry Malloy, an ex-prize fighter, and became famous for mumbling the line, "I could have been a contender." Brando did a lot of private mumbling after he starred in the remake of Mutiny on the Bounty. It cost $20 million, and was such a flop, Brando became known as box office poison. He cemented this image by starring in failure after failure for the next 10 years. Then The Godfather came along. Brando designed his own makeup for the screen test. He plastered his hair back and stuffed Kleenex in his gums. When the director, Francis Coppola, showed the test to the studio, the executives didn't recognize Brando. "Sure, this guy looks Italian," they said, "but can he act?" Brando answered that question by winning his second Oscar for this role. He didn't attend the award ceremony, but sent an Apache maiden in his place, and he ordered her to refuse his Oscar. In his next film, Last Tango in Paris, his co-star was Maria Schneider. Brando had trouble remembering some of his lines, and wanted them written on Maria's rear end. Well, that would give him an excuse for staring. The producers of the movie Superman wanted him to play the part of Superman's father, Jor-El. Brando held out until they made him an offer he couldn't refuse. He worked 12 days and was paid over $18 million. Who says you can't find good jobs anymore? Today, Marlon Brando is considered by many to be America's greatest film actor. In many of his roles, Brando was more than a contender. He was a champion.
Okay, well, that's our first story. So our game is played in two very different rounds. In round one, our three challenges will be fighting it out in order to determine which two of them are going to go on to do battle with our reigning champion later on in round two. And we make that determination by running a little race. Whichever two of you crosses the finish line first will be the two who go on to meet our champion in round two. Unfortunately, the third place finisher will be out of the game. And can you guess what impression I just did? I will guess not. Okay, glad it wasn't a question. Everybody get your hands on your buzzers, because here comes the real first question. Here it is. For what film did Brando win his first Oscar, Diana?
On the Waterfront.
On the Waterfront's right, and Diana swishes out of the gate. When asked if he preferred a bath or a shower, what did Diana?
Neither. He preferred to spit in the sky.
Yes, you did finish it, and he did spit in the sky, right. Okay, Diana, that puts you two ahead of Marlin and Carol. Here's the question. Who co-starred with Brando in Last Tango in Paris? Carol.
Schneider.
Schneider is right. Carol moves out. What type of role did Brando play in The Men? Diana.
Gay.
Pardon? Was it gay? I think perhaps he was happy. I don't think he was gay. How about a paraplegic or a disabled veteran? Okay, moving right along. Diana, we're going to turn your light out for that. Okay? Well, we're going to go over to Marlin and Carol, and here's the question. Brando designed his own makeup for what? Marlin.
Godfather.
For what screen test? Godfather's right. Marlin makes his move. And we're going to bring Diana back in the game. It's okay, Diana. Everybody is back in. Here's the question. Brando starred in the remake of what film? Carol.
Mutiny on the Bounty.
Right, Mutiny on the Bounty, and Carol moves up, ties with Diana. Brando played what character in Streetcar Named Desire? Marlon?
Stanley Kowalski.
Stanley Kowalski is right. Three-way tie. Who approached Brando in a diner while he was preparing for the men? Carol.
Faith Healer.
Faith Healer is right. Carol forges in the lead. What job did Brando once have? Carol.
Elevator operator.
Department store elevator operator is right. And Carol forges into the lead. And not only that, one step away from being our first winner. This question could put you over, Carol, if you buzz in and if you answer it correctly. But you got Diana and Marlin to contend with. Here it comes. What was the name of Brando's character in On the Waterfront? Terry Malloy. Terry Malloy. Okay, nobody buzzed in, so we just go to the next question. Here it comes. After Mutiny on the Bounty, Brando became known as box office Marlin.
Failure.
No, box office poison. Close, but no cigar. Okay, Marlin, you got to sit this one out. We go to Diana and Carol, who is a lady in waiting. For what film did Brando win his second Oscar? Diana.
Godfather.
Godfather's right. Diana moves up. Just into that far turn, we bring Marlin back into the game, and here's the question for all three. When Brando stood up from his wheelchair, what happened to her? Diana?
She fainted.
Yes, she did faint. Diana comes up even with Carol. The two ladies are both one step away from being our first winner. Marlin is two back. Here's a question that could put one lady into the winner's circle. In what film did Brando have trouble remembering his lines? Marlin.
Last Tango in Paris.
Yes, indeed. That puts Marlin one back. Not going to go down without a fight. All right. On the Waterfront, Terry Malloy was an ex-what? Diana.
Gay.
You're determined to have gay. No, prize fighter. What's the thing about Marlon Brando that we don't know? No. All right, Diana, we're going to turn your lights out again. And we're going to go over to Marlon and Carol. And Carol's one step away, and here's the question. How much was Brando paid for being in Superman? Marlon?
18 million.
18 million is right. Okay. We got a three-way tie. We go into that winner's circle. We're going to bring Diana back in. And here's a question for all three. In On the Waterfront, Brando mumbled what famous? Marlon.
I could have been a contender.
Yeah, he could have been a contender. Okay, Marlon, congratulations. You're going to meet that champion in round two. Contemplate that for a while. Sit back while Diana and Carol fight it out. And it doesn't look like it's going to be a long fight because they're both one step away from being our second winner. There can only be one, and here's the question that could put one of them there. Where did Brando want his lines written in last? Diana.
On the Girls Behind.
On the Girls Behind is right. Diana's our second winner. $200 picture. You're going to join Marlin in that battle against the champion in round two. Carol, you got real close. You played real well. Thanks. Thanks
a lot.
I hope you had a good time. All right. We'll be back in a moment to see just how well our two challengers do battle against the champion in round two right after this.